Good morning. Welcome on in, DJ and PK. I'm PK. DJ, he's off today. He'll be back tomorrow. He spent some time away. I didn't spend any time away. Man, I was glued to the television all weekend long. What a great sports weekend we had. Started with, where do you want to start? Basketball? Yeah, no problemo, huh? Couple of Game 7s yesterday that were super exciting. I realized that the Pacers blew out the New York Knicks, but how about that series, man? First 6 games, only the home team wins. You're figuring New York going to be back at the Garden, the world's most famous arena, and yet the Pacers take it to them, and now they will advance to take on the Boston Celtics. Sort of think it was sort of academic anyway as far as who advanced, because I'm going to pick Boston, as most people will. Understood. And the Knicks, I think they just ran out of gas. Had some injuries, no rim protection, and they couldn't get the job done. Knicks fans tortured again. First conference finals in over 20 years. And then they come up short. Game 7 losses at home are rare. And if we had DJ here today, he could tell you what those stats are, but you're going to have to wait or look them up for yourself. I know they're rare, and I don't need to know the exact numbers. That's where Stat Boy comes in, but he's not here today. I just know that it was a bad loss for the Knicks. And then Game 7 later on, Denver and Minnesota. How about that rally by Minnesota? Man, exciting game. And then we saw on Saturday, the Dallas Mavericks, 1-point win to send the OKC Thunder home. All sorts of fun with basketball. We'll hit that all morning, obviously. The 2 Game 7s. And then I was hoping for maybe Oklahoma City to be able to win that game to get a Game 7 in that series, but no such luck. Doncic and company doing his thing, and everybody else getting some role players played well. Foul at the end by SGA and Dallas, who did not make the playoffs last year. Do you realize Dallas did not make the playoffs last year? And we know they sat their guys so they could keep their pick. Who was their pick? It was the kid Lively, right, out of Duke, and he played very, very well for them. You know, their role players really, really stepped up. They got 2 stars at the top, Irving, and you still think he's a star, and then Doncic, who's an all NBA caliber player, that's for sure, doing his thing. And then some role players, and then what do you got? Lo and behold, you got them advancing. And also yesterday, we had golf, the PGA Championship. Yeah. What a way it ended. Maybe the course was too easy. Schauffele, just too many guys, 20 and under. And we know how it began. Friday morning, right? Yeah. Scotty Scheffler, still an unbelievable story. I mean, he was in contention a little bit. It's hard to be in contention every single time. Golf is too fickle that way. Guys get hot. You get in a groove. I mean, Scheffler's still the number 1 player. And also, too, we can't forget about soccer, can we? RSL, 5-3. How about that, man? That was incredible. Was it not? Over Colorado, their bitter rival. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set it up now, move on to the next segment. We're going to let you hear from Pablo Mastroeni, our guy. Joined us on Friday and Saturday night. He talked about that great win. And then we'll hear from Emeka Eneli. And let's go right now to break. And then when we come back, you will hear those two, the coach and the player, as I said. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome on in, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. DJ and PK. DJ off today. Hey, soccer, man, it takes its heat. A lot of people don't like it, but not enough action. Well, there was certainly a ton of action on Saturday as RSL avenges their only home loss of the season, gets down 0-2, gets down 3-2, and still manages to win. Going away in soccer, 5-3. Let's hear from Pablo Mastroeni. And then we will hear from our guy, Emeka Eneli, right now.
There were a lot of questions that I could have asked throughout the whole match, but I got asked about the emotions after that game winner from Gomez. It seemed like the whole team was just up out of their seats and just going crazy.
Yeah, I think it was one of the most emotional games that I've experienced probably since Dami's last touch to get us in the playoffs in 2021. I haven't felt that type of energy from the group. With the steely mindset to stay in it when we weren't at our best. But again, we talk about mental fortitude all the time. And the guys after the game mentioned the same. And they feel like, whether we're playing great or we're not playing well, whether we're winning or we're behind it, the people in this room have incredible mindsets. And I think, and credit to the fans who really push the group forward, and again, that's what home field's all about. And so I think it all kind of culminated into this moment tonight, which was a special moment against our biggest rivals on a day where it could have definitely gone pear-shaped. But again, speaking to the resiliency of the guys' mindset was really the X factor tonight.
And then talking about the guys who scored the goals, Chicho and Gomez both with 2. Chicho's been a stalwart. He's been pretty consistent throughout. Gomez, at his young age and his rapid improvement, is the sky the limit for him?
I mentioned this last year. What Gomez is doing has finally translated from the practice field to the game field on the stage. Last year he was banging goals in for fun. So everything that you're seeing this year is what he's doing last year in training. What the difficulty was understanding how to achieve the same thing with real pressure. And there's always a moment in a player's career, when that switch goes off. And when you think you can, you start doing it. And again, I think Chicho having the kind of year he's having has definitely attracted a lot of attention his way. Andres is doing a good job of reaping the benefits of that. Luna's doing a great job. Crooks is doing a great job. So, our attacking group has been fantastic. I think the sky is the limit. And the other thing with Andres that is very unique is his ability to defend for the team. And oftentimes when you have a winger that is that prolific in the attack, he's walking back. But he's sacrificing everything for the group. And when you put all that together, he's one of the more dangerous wingers in this league.
And you want to go next? Pablo.
The crowd was super into it tonight. Talk about maybe what that means to the players when you're down a goal in a rivalry game and the crowd is just providing that excitement.
Yeah, I mean, again, I said it in my interview after the game. The 12th man was spectacular tonight because, again, I think we're on the sidelines trying to, get the guys engaged. But it's a lot different when there's 4 of us on the sidelines versus 25,000 fans that are really pushing the team forward, that are tilting the field, that are instilling belief in the guys in moments that are very difficult. And so, again, I think that's what made this game special. The eruption after the goals, you felt it in your soul. And so if I feel it on the sidelines, imagine what the players who have battled 3 games in a week, who are tired, who are below, who are losing the game, the energy that brings to him was spectacular tonight.
Hey, Pablo, rough start. You want to talk a little bit about what you saw and how those first 2 goals played out?
Yeah, so, I think, again, a lot of things, and again, we're in the part of the season where this was really our toughest stretch as far as games. And so, we have to analyze, should we have put fresher legs out on the field? But given the continuity of the group and the performances that we had in the previous 2 games, I felt that it was the best way to go to start the game. However, I felt like we were flat. We were second to any loose ball. There wasn't the pep that we've had. And so these are great learning experiences for us as a coaching staff to make sure that, you don't know until you go through it. And so I thought we were a bit sluggish, a bit tentative. The tempo of the game was a bit slow. 2 goals that they conceded we didn't really they didn't have to work really hard for, I felt like. And that's on all of us. That's not on the back line. That's on everyone that was on the field tonight and on the sidelines tonight. So, but I think what sticks out in my mind is when we're on the front foot defensively, that engages us to be more proactive offensively. And I just felt like we weren't asking any questions defensively, which allowed them to walk the ball up the field. And so I think in the second half, we had a better approach to the game, better mindset. And I thought the guys were spectacular. And I think what makes a team great is, because you can talk about all the tactics you want. At the end of the day, football comes down to the little individual battles on the field. And when you have a group of guys that are willing to do whatever it takes to win a game, if they're not feeling great, if they're down 2-0, you can bring up all these things. But the mindset of everyone on that field to say, you know what, we're down 3-2, and there's only 10 minutes left, but we're going to win this game. You know, that you can't coach. That is the guys in the locker room committing to one another to be better than they were the game before. And for me, I think that's the greatest takeaway from this game, especially a derby in any sport. There's heightened emotion, and when you can tilt the field in your advantage, and you have 25,000 fans going nuts, it's a great moment, especially coming from behind and winning the game in the fashion that we did.
Awesome, thanks.
Pablo, congratulations on the win again. Can you walk us through a little bit through the subs that you made tonight? You know, it seemed maybe you hold off Fidel a little bit. You also was out maybe a little Catranes and Matt were a little upset coming off.
Yeah, I think when you're in the run of form that we're currently in, no one wants to come off the field. You're right, and that's and I think that's what makes our team great. That's what makes these guys great. Is they're competitors. They never want to be taken out, right? And in the world that we coaches live in is, how do we inject some fresh legs? How do we inject a different look to ask questions of what Colorado's doing? And so, as I think it was in the 80th minute, we're going to put Fidel in, and we're going to take Brody out, and we're going to have him play in the right half space and press out from there. And we're going to play 3 in the back, and then we scored the goal. So then we held it off. But again, then the Ojeda sub was more that he put one of his largest physical loads against Seattle, and Nelson has been waiting for an opportunity to get in there, and I thought tonight he was fantastic. And this is what we've been, this is what we and Nelson has been waiting for, is a performance that makes it so we have 3 starting central midfielders, and he did that tonight. And then Chang, and then Quentin for Brody was more. They're going to have set pieces. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to just lump them on the box. Let's get some height out there. And then Chang for Luna was more. Luna's played 3 great consecutive games and has reached the form that he was at the end of last year when he was carrying our group. And it was just basically about getting some fresh legs out there. And Chang, he went in there and did a great job, and was a big part of the Anderson's goal. And so then Anderson was obviously, they play with a high line. How do we threaten the space behind? And he did it a couple times. He had 2 really good looks on goal, and for him to score that goal was a big thing for Anderson, because he's been close all year. But that goal really, again, all these moments really inject belief and into the group. And so we got a great team, and we got a great mindset.
And last question for me. Last Wednesday, you talk about how there isn't really much of a home field advantage, but today it seems like the crowd and everything pushed the team to go up. Are we still on the same page there?
No, I think home field advantage is, the onus is on us players to make the home field advantage. The fans show up every game. So the onus is on us to continue to perform at a high level that gets the fans excited, that push the team forward. It's a symbiotic relationship. Without players, there's no fans. Without fans, the players don't play for anything. And so the onus is on us as a team to make this a home field, to make this place a home field advantage.
Thank you.
Let's go to Justin Ruderman on Zoom.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for your time. Just in terms of Chicho, when you bring in Anderson Julio and put him in the 9, now you have Chicho in the 10. How does it, or second striker kind of role, how does it help the team to know that whatever you put him, whether it's the 9 kind of second striker role, he's going to contribute, he's going to kind of drive this team on to victories like this?
Yeah, no, I think, again, Chicho is a player that I think from a deep, from a withdrawn striker position, and he's playing in the right half space, he's got an ability to combine really well with Andreas, link up with Ando, hit a big switch. I mean, he is a playmaker. And so, the only ask with Chicho is we put him out there to make sure that when we get the ball and or we break lines, is that he gets in the box and he's contributing on that end. And he does that. And so now it's more like we have 2 strikers on the field that can both score goals, but bringing Chicho's attacking qualities to our build is something that we've seen over the course of these last 14 games, and he does a really good job of that and getting in the box. And so now there's really 2 guys in that area that have goals in them, and I think he's done a great job in at the 9 and at the 10 as well.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the craziest games I've been a part of, but the belief in the team, the belief in each other, that even when we went down 2-0 and then went down 3-2, that we were always going to get back in the game. I think we showed that and showed our mentality as well throughout the entire game. And obviously the result then played its part for us. So very, very happy for that.
So it's not going to count in the books, but you basically got an assist on Chicho's second goal. It seems like you and Ojeda and also Palacio today were taking a lot of chances from distance. Have you guys been practicing on that to try to get more opportunities at goal, or is that just something that just naturally happened today because of the way that the game was playing out?
I think it just kind of naturally happened how the game was playing out. The way we play, we try and really pin teams in. So sometimes, they have 9, 10 players behind the ball, and that allows a lot of space for, us pivots, our 10s as well, like at the top of the box whenever balls like bounce out off of a cross or anything like that. So I think just taking our opportunity when we have the chance. And I was able to do that off the corner, obviously, hit the crossbar, and then Chicho finished it.
And then I asked Pablo about you earlier as well, and he spoke very highly of you, basically saying that the sky's the limit for you. What are your goals and aspirations as far as your career?
Good question. I think I really just focus on the present. So really just focused on this season, trying to play the best that I can, play as many minutes as I can, and just help the team win the league, win the Supporters Shield, Leagues Cup. So, I'll just focus on what I can do this season, and then after that, reevaluate where I want to go, my heights, my things that I want to do. But really just, I really try and focus on the present and what's going on right now.
Emeka, you are one of the players that has played pretty much every minute so far in the season. And Pablo described you as a key player for what RSL is doing. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very happy. I mean, whenever you have the trust of your manager, it's just a great feeling because you feel like it excels your game, having that confidence from Pablo. So I'm very grateful for that and just want to continue to build on that.
Yeah. Your relationship on the field with Ojeda seems like you guys know where you are without seeing each other. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you guys talked about a lot in practice, or how did that come to be where you guys know where you are?
Yeah, I think it just comes through training. We do a lot of pivot work individually. Me, Ojeda, Nelson, just us 3. After trainings or before trainings or in between trainings, things like that. And I think just getting a feel for each other is what we've done really well, and it translates to the game. So the more pivot work we do in training, the better it looks in games. We kind of just know where each other is at. I know his tendencies pretty well. I think he knows my tendencies really well. So I think it kind of just pairs together very well, and we just want to continue to build on that, throughout the season. 'Cause I think it could be even better,
Emeka, congratulations on the win. And my question for you is, You seem to be taking really good angles and then getting physical at just the right time and just the right amount of physicality. How do you balance that out with taking fouls, giving fouls, and kind of that balance there?
I think it's just kind of second nature and just knowing where the opponent is, because like the ball, I think there was one time it happened in the second half, their striker that came on, the ball bounced up in the air, and like I took one or two glances before, and then I took the touch, and I knew he was coming from behind me. So if you can get your body in front of him and then kind of slow down a little bit, you can draw almost any foul as long as you're strong enough to keep that ball and don't let it get poked away. So I think I've been doing that for a long time, even when I was playing in college. It's just kind of second nature to me, protecting the ball like that, and just really knowing about your surroundings and your awareness, and it allows you to protect the ball really well and draw those type of fouls.
We can go to.
Oh, yeah, English, yeah. Emeka, just one question for me. So you had to come back not just once, but twice, because you guys were down 2-0. You guys got the 2-2, and then 3-2. You guys got to come back. So my question is, how do you stay calm during those times? Because tensions are high, everyone's pushing around. Obviously, it's a rivalry against Colorado Rapids. So how do you just stay calm to not get a hot head and maybe get a card, a dumb card, maybe even get a red card at that moment?
I think it's just belief in the way we want to play, our structure, and belief in one another. I mean, I know we played Colorado 2 months ago here. We went down 2-1, and we kind of went away from what we were trying to do, how we were trying to play, and then ended up losing the game 2-1. We went down 2-0 here, and I think it's 2 months later, obviously, in the season. We've matured a little bit, so we kind of know how we want to play, and even if, no matter the scoreline, no matter if we're home or away, we want to play that same way. And so I think just continuing to do that, when us as a team know that that's our structure and that we have belief in each other, no matter what the score is, we're going to try and play how we want to play. And we have that belief that we're always going to come back in a game. And so when we went down 2-0, there's belief we were going to come back and make it 2-2. We went down 3-2, even though it took a long time, just continuing to chip away and, not getting frustrated, not being impatient, because as long as we, continue to do what we do, stick to what we know how to do, the goals would hopefully come, and obviously they did today, and so very, very happy for that. Yeah.
We can go to Carson on Zoom.
Hey, Emeka. Great game today. You've been kind of Mr. Consistent throughout the whole season. What do you do to make sure you're consistent every game?
Good question. I think trying to reset after each game. You can't really look too far in advance in the season. There's so many games. If you do that, you mentally you won't keep up. So I really just try and focus on the next day at hand, even if it's just training. We play on Saturday, so we have Sunday, Monday off, but just focus on the training on Tuesday, trying to get one day better then. And then that goes into Wednesday, into Thursday, into Friday, and then game day on Saturday. So I think just really focusing on the day in hand, whether it's a training, whether it's a game, it keeps you mentally locked in and mentally focused. And we've played 14, 15 games so far this season, and it's done me well. So hopefully it can continue on that.
You talk a lot about the mentality of things. Or do you have routines you do every game day, before every practice? What can you tell us about that?
I wouldn't say, I guess before a game, I do the same thing every time before a game, breakfast, and I just relax, take a nap before the game, then pregame meal, maybe watch a show for 30 minutes, and then kind of just get ready for the game. But it's not really I don't really have anything super, super specific. I think you're just finding what works for you, So I just kind of fell into that routine early on in the season, and I've continued with it, and it's just been super helpful. And I think another thing is, my coach at Cornell, I still talk to him. He's hopefully going to come out here in the summer. And I think before Cornell, I didn't really focus on mentality or anything like that. But going to Cornell and meeting him, he was basically all about mentality. And I think it kind of made me look at the game in a different way. Obviously, you need the technical aspects, the physical aspects. But I think now mentally just being able to be focused 90 minutes the entire game, not letting your opponent, see a soft side in you. Just things like that just really can take you a long way. And I kind of learned that from him. So just continuing to build on that, work on that, because I think every single day, you can get better physically, you can get better technically, you can get better mentally. So just continuing to try and, improve in those aspects.
Thank you, Emeka.
Emeka, I just got one last question. So it's only been 14 games under this kind of new model, this new setup. How much more can you guys improve on it? Is it just detail and nuance, or is there still a lot of room for cohesion and improvement?
I think it's both. Whenever you're kind of learning a new system, like 14 games seems like a lot, but it's really not, because I feel like for teams to really get their structure or their system down, it can take years. And obviously, as you get on later in the season, it's just smaller details, things like that, which is some things we're trying to focus on. But I think just each day, each week, trying to just get a little bit better. Not make super big strides, because it's not possible, but just small strides each day will add up throughout the season. And then we do that, and hopefully just see where it takes us.
There they are, the two guys that we were hearing from on Saturday night. It's a fun game. I watched it. I absolutely watched it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I know. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I enjoyed that. Well, also this week we had the PGA Championship. Golf is on the mind. And we're going to talk some local golf next. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. I'm PK. DJ's off today. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning. What do you know? PGA Championship in the books. 2 majors done. Xander Schauffele got the lead early on Friday. Got a little tight, but then he played well enough to win it on Sunday. And with golf on the mind, it's golf season now, that's for sure, right? Summer is just about here. Final days of spring. School getting out. The high schools here in the next week or two. Thinking about all the stuff that's going on. Golf is definitely on the minds of many people. And in October, the PGA is going to come to St. George area at Black Desert. Well, we got David Viveiros, who is the director of events there. He's going to tell us all about it. Stay with us right here as we listen to the interview with David Viveiros. Well, I'm a golf guy, and I'm jacked for it. I mean, there's no question about it. I've been down there a couple of times. I was down there when the PGA person from Ponte Verde was there. I think it might have been when they were figuring out whether to make it a go or not. And I remember talking to him, and I talked with him for 2 days and went out on the course, and no one was there at that time. It was in the afternoon. And then the next day, he and Patrick Manning, they were the developer, were there scouting out where to put seats and stuff and trying to figure it all out. And this was a year ago, so they were already well into knee-deep into making this thing happen, and now we're just a few months away. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. I think it's going to be just unbelievable. It's crazy to think about what has happened in our sports and, well, I'll say community, but in this case, I'll go state, obviously, since it's a few hours away. When I first got here, it was the Jazz and then BYU Utah playing in the Mountain West. And now you look at it, we've got a soccer team, we've got the hockey team, we've got, first it was Pac-12, and now it's Big 12 with both of these teams, and then the golf coming. I mean, this state has just exploded sports-wise to levels that I didn't really see when I first moved here.
No, PK, I could not agree with you more. I mean, I've been in this state for 27 years doing sports business and college athletics, pro sports, and events, major events. And it really comes down to money. And I think the last 15 years is on the corporate side and the business side, the technology side. I mean, we just exploded with success. There are several companies in the northern Utah area and southern Utah that have just exploded that has allowed this to take place. That's really what's going on. But the PGA Tour coming is directly correlated with business success. This is one sport that will not exist if it wasn't for business sponsorships. That's what it comes down to. And we're grateful for that. We see that, and our company, Black Desert Resort and Reef Capital, we are very successful, but there are so many other sponsors that are coming in. We get calls daily for the sponsorships, the pro-ams, the Monday, the officials. So everything's being filled up, but there's still spots left. So please call in, go to our website, blackdesertevents.com, click on the PGA Tour link that takes you directly to our website, and then go explore the Champions Club, the hospitality experiences, the Greater Zion Club. You will not be disappointed. And when we built this as a team, we wanted to build it so that people from Utah, when they got down there, they were going to appreciate it. They're like, yes, this is our tour event. And that's what we've done. And I think come October, PK, they're going to love it.
David Viveiros, Director of Championship Events at Black Desert, joining us now. How many people do you think, do you anticipate the course being able to handle in terms of spectators?
10 to 12,000. That's the cap. 10 to 12,000. Anything more than that, we've been told by the PGA Tour and by city officials and county officials that it would be a complicating, challenging matter for us. But 10 to 12,000 is what we can handle per day. So we have, and it's open to the public on Wednesday, starting Wednesday for the official Pro-Am.
Yeah.
So unlike other tournaments that do 4 days that they're open, we're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that's what we're expecting. And here's a great tidbit too, PK, and where the excitement's building. So I think it was May 8th. No, it was April 8th or 15th. Our director of volunteers, we've been collecting people who are interested in volunteering for the tour event. And we have a database of 2,500 of people who have, put their name down. And we, I think it was April 8th or 15th, we pressed one button, send out to this database. 16 hours later, we had to shut it down because we had 975 volunteers paid and registered. And now we've closed it, and we have 1,200 with like 300 of them being on the waiting list.
Really?
So that is an indicator, PK and Riley, that there's excitement just on the volunteer side. We can only imagine on the spectator side when we get closer.
The thing that I like, having been to many golf tours, I've been to the Waste Management. I have the Phoenix background. My wife's from Phoenix, so we go down. I mean, it's an absolute zoo, and this year it really blew up and got out of control. And I don't really get into it, although I go as a credentialed guy and try to do some interviews. I interviewed Johnny Miller down there and Tony, and so it's a little bit different. So it's a combination of work, but it really is out of control in terms of the number of people. It's like for people like myself who want to go watch golf and aren't interested in getting drunk, that it's not really conducive. And I go to the Palm Springs because they do the 3 different courses, and the crowds there are much smaller. I want to see golf, right? And so from that amount of people, if you have the opportunity to go, that it's not an overwhelming amount, that it's actually going to help you in your spectatorship, so to speak, to be able to watch the highest quality golf and not feel like you're smothered by a bunch of people and you're 20 people deep on every single shot.
No, you bring up a great point, PK. The course, designed and built by Tom Weiskopf, the legend, and who we all love. And actually, just last night at the City Council in Ivins, they just voted that our PGA Tournament week is now Tom Weiskopf week.
Oh, nice.
To let you know.
Yeah.
So,
and he's
that's
deceased.
a great. Oh yeah, and Patrick Manning and Jared Lucero, who are the masterminds behind Black Desert Resort, they just loved working with Tom Weiskopf. He had a huge impact on them. But to your point, the course is built narrow, so we can't have the 25,000 people per day. And so what we did, this is where we brought in some other people that we've consulted with. We built a tournament that's based around VIP hospitality experiences. So our GA, I believe, we're only going to allow like 1,500 to 2,000 per day, but our VIP experiences is where it's at, where we want you to watch golf. And that's about 5,500 to 6,000 VIP experiences. And so it's a little different than your normal course that's so wide. And because of that, we want you to have a great golf hospitality experience and not just, for the masses. Now, we will have beer there, but it's going to be heavily looked at, so we don't have the experiences like, down south in Arizona with the waste management. So we get what you're saying, but we're going to offer that. It's going to be great, and but it will be we think it's going to be a great experience for everybody, those who drink or don't drink.
Right. I mean, that's the Phoenix Open rep, is to party like there's no tomorrow. And so be it, and good for them. The People's Open, blah, blah, blah. And the gorgeous weather in the winter. People plan vacations around it here. You'll have gorgeous weather in the fall as far as that goes. Do you know, or when will you know, when the field will be nailed down?
The field, again, a great question. I think it's either open or will open in June. The players can start registering for the event. But to the meat of your question, like the named players, they usually don't register or announce until like a week, 2-3 weeks before the event. We are hearing some people who I'm not allowed to disclose who are interested and playing, and there are some good names. So we're expecting, 2 to 4, maybe 6 really good name players. I'll tell you what we are hearing, though, from when we announced last June, when you were out there, when I saw you out there golfing with your wife.
Yeah.
Since last June, what we are hearing is almost from people that we talked to in northern Utah, southern Utah, potential spectators, sponsors. We're not initiating this conversation, but we're hearing there's almost this expectation that everyone wants Tony Finau to play in his backyard.
Right.
That is an overwhelming fact that we're hearing from the people in Utah.
No question.
That there's this anticipation that Tony's playing, right? And we can't answer that. We're like, yeah, we love him to play, and we're talking to him, but he's got bigger fish to fry right now. He's on tour playing and getting ready for the majors.
Yeah.
But the expectation, they overwhelming everyone 100%. Tony's playing, right? Well, yes, we would love him to play, but that's the expectation. They want Finau to play in his backyard. I think there will be some disappointment if he doesn't.
Yeah, and I think Mike Weir is going to come down.
Yes.
I talked to him.
How did you know that?
I talked to him.
You thought, he is coming down.
Yeah.
That's probably room for another interview and conversation with Patrick Manning. If you can hold off on that one, Mike Weir is playing. There is another individual, and there's a good reason for these two to be playing. But I'd like to reserve those questions for another interview with Patrick Manning.
Absolutely.
He's so big for the community. Patrick has done incredible stuff. And he's the one that actually lobbied the PGA Tour for those two to come play. And there's background story on it. One's a really cool background story. So if you can just reserve that question for a Patrick Manning interview, I think the people would love to hear what Patrick has to say about Mike Weir and the other player that's coming.
Okay, well, we'll have to get on it. I might have to text him here real soon to see him come on our air to tell us, because now you got me super intrigued, and I'm sure if I am, that the community would be, because this is a great golf state as far as that goes. I think it's just going to be absolutely spectacular. And I've had multiple conversations with Patrick as far as what the entire development is going to be about. What's the level of progression there?
The resort, there's the resort itself, meaning the hotel, the conference center, the pro shop, and the 3 restaurants at the hotel site. All of that will be built except for one wing on the, I believe it's the south side of the structure. So we are going to be open at full, I think almost full capacity. I think 100 rooms less than what we wanted because of that one wing. there will be aspects of the full resort, like the family village, the water park area, and the boardwalk, that will not be completed until Q3 25 and Q1 26. That's when it's really going to be fully completed. But as Kelly Jensen, the vice president of tournament business affairs for the PGA Tour, said the last time he came, he looked around and said, well, doesn't matter to us. That ball is dropping on October 10th. So please get here. No matter what it looks like, it's dropping, and we're going to play the tournament.
David Viveiros, Director of Championship Events for Black Desert. Now, before we let you go, I'd be remiss in neglecting to talk about the LPGA, too. I mean, because I'm fired up for that, and that is a year from now. Give us a little update on that.
Oh, yeah. We are right now, we have initial renderings from John Coolball, our operations director, who's overseeing that aspect of the LPGA as well. And we're going to start breaking down our what it's going to look like, and then our packages, our sponsor packages. But we will be actively, as a team, approaching some sponsors. We have already received commitments from a handful of sponsors for the LPGA event next year. So it's the interest is there to just be behind the best women golfers in the world. And I love saying that phrase because I worked so hard to bring the LPGA here for so many years, and to have Patrick and Jared see that same vision and them, they are behind this. It's going to almost look like the same way we are with the PGA Tour, just a little additions here, a little subtractions there, but it's going to look great for the ladies. We are going to be all in for treating these ladies like queens when they get here. That's the whole goal. But we are looking forward to it, and the sponsorship interest is there, and we're signing them. And it's not going to be a long time. It's going to come quicker than we think. So it's only next year. This time period, right. Next year is when the LPGA will take place.
Yep. David, thanks for your time this morning. Appreciate the update.
Thanks, Riley. Thanks, PK. Take care, guys.
There you go. That's David Viveiros. Man, it's going to be so cool. The tournament is coming to the St. George area. Really looking forward to it. Got to tell you, DJ and PK is proudly presented by Murdoch Chevrolet, and it's proudly serving Utah since 1926. Also, how about America First Credit Union? Get the official debit cards of the Utah Jazz, University of Utah Sports, Real Salt Lake, and more exclusively at America First Credit Union. Well, what's trending is coming up. We got tons to talk about, man, today for sure. What a ball game in Denver. Game 7. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Wow, what a great game that was. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.